Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
8:07, O'Connor and Company here on this first day of July. Happy second half of 2025 as we roll into the summer bigly this July 4th week. It's Larry O'Connor alongside Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
And listen, this week is all about sort of getting ready for your July 4th festivities, celebrating this great country, easing into the summer. And if you're like me, that means a good read or two. And every summer you can count on Brad Thor for delivering a great read. He always brings in the funk, as it were. And he joins us now. Brad, my friend, it's been too long. Good to talk with you.
It's great to be back with you, Larry. Thank you. And I heard a little bit of Stevie Wonder, and I thought, oh, my gosh, have we lost that love and feeling? Are we going to get that funk intro? And you never disappoint, Larry.
We try to do a twofer for you there. Absolutely. Brad, Scott Harvath finally settling down, finally gets married. And by the way, if you're a fan of the Brad Thor books and Scott Harvath, you know that the most dangerous person in the world is whoever is romantically connected to Scott Harvath. It does not end well for his paramours. But now he finally gets married and things are settling down and everything's going to be fine, right? Right? Nothing can go wrong now, just a peaceful sort of retirement.
Well, my whole idea was I bring Harvath back. He lives south of Alexandria, and I wanted to do a big 4th of July red, white, and blue thriller, set it all in D.C., and have the book come out a couple days before the 4th of July so that as you're reading Edge of Honor, it's actually unfolding in real time in the book as you in the real world are leading up to Friday the 4th. Yeah. So Harvath comes back. He is married to a Norwegian spy. He's out of the game. And a friend of his, after a jog in Rock Creek Park, believes he's being chased down by a couple of assassins, comes to him and says, hey, I need your help. Nobody believes me, and I really think I'm in danger. And so Harvath gets out of the stands, off the sidelines, and back into the game while his wife uncovers something happening right up at the Norwegian ambassador's residence, and yes, she gets pulled into the same plot, but from a different side.
It's funny, and I do love the fact that this one is set right here in our backyard, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. And whenever I drive down Massachusetts Avenue, Embassy Row, Julie, I don't know if you're like me, but I always find it fascinating that the vice president lives there, the Norwegian embassy is there, and the Vatican embassy is right there. It's this triangle. It's like there's something weird going on with these three, and turns out it's true. And Brad Thor has written it into his book.
Perfect. You know, I will say this. I love the idea of a happy ending. I do love the getting married, settling down. The ending of the book is fabulous.
Until the bullets fly.
Yeah, I know. But it really is. Like, you kind of, I'm one of these people who goes to Mission Impossible, and I'm like, when's he going to settle down? Come on, aren't you tired? Seriously, have a kid. Brad, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say what I did is I gave Scott Harvath what I call the supermodel problem. In the 1990s, supermodel Linda Evangelista said, I don't get out of bed for anything less than $100,000. And Harvath, in a previous book, was able to shave off part of a very high bounty on his own head and put it in the bank. He doesn't need to work anymore. So that's why I had to create this thing where I have a friend of his, it's loosely based on a friend of mine who worked in a previous administration, who could no longer get a security detail and believed the Iranians were after him. So before we heard about Pompeo and Bolton losing their security details, I had already written this book about somebody from a previous administration. So like I said, my guy in Rock Creek Park thinks he's being chased by a couple of Iranian assassins. That's what draws Harvath in. And this whole thing bouncing, I mean, I even said something at the Mount Vernon Yacht Club to make this authentic, which looks like the coolest place in the world. I think those folks are going to have a blast when they read the book and see their yacht club written in there. But it really is a fun, exciting. I have the Dulles Access Road. I've written one of my biggest action scenes ever on the way out to the airport there. Yeah. So I really think D.C. people in particular are going to enjoy this.
Yeah, Brad, I did what you mentioned, talking to your friends as sources, but in your acknowledgments, you talk about author Nelson DeMille, who, like you, was a best-selling author. Everyone is familiar with his works. And while you were writing this, sadly, he passed away. Tell us a little bit about DeMille and what he meant to you and his influence.
Well, so I grew up reading Nelson's books. My parents would finish them, and I'd swipe them and read them. Probably started way too young reading Charm School and things like that. Nelson was an incredibly giving person, and I'm sad to say that of my first wonderful 3 blurbs that I got from my first book, one was from Nelson. That's great. One was from Vince Flynn. The other is from a great author who took over the Mitch Rapp books for Vince, Kyle Mills. And Kyle's the only one still living. Vince Flynn and Nelson DeMille have both passed on. Great authors, and so extremely helpful to me as a debut author shortly after 9/11 when my new book, my very first book, The Lions of Lucerne, came out, which is now being turned into a TV show. So I get to honor those guys a little bit more by, getting something finally across the goal line in Hollywood that they helped me get started in the publishing business. So I'll be forever grateful.
By the way, I saw this news, Brad, and I was going to bring it up to you, so let's get into it. Finally, the Brad Thor series gets a film treatment, and boy, did you land a director, Chad Stileski. Anyone who knows, he's the guy who envisioned the John Wick films, but before he was a director of those incredible action movies, he was the coordinator of all the stunts for Keanu Reeves' Matrix movies and other Keanu Reeves movies. I mean, this guy, he knows action, and he knows how to make the camera come alive. I'm so excited for you.
So we're super excited. So we are doing our first season is going to be an 8-part series. It's going to be a television series. I can't release yet where it's going to air because the big guys are making that announcement. But so this will be Chad's first television project. He's a great guy. We've got Howard Gordon, who is the force behind Homeland and 24. And then our lead writer and showrunner is Steve Lightfoot, who did all the Punisher episodes, 2 seasons of the Punisher for Netflix. Wow. So we have this incredibly, not even an A team, an A-plus team.
Oh, I know it's been a dream for a decade now, so I'm so thrilled that this is happening. We cannot wait to see. Of course, there's going to be a lot of controversy about what actor gets to play Scott Harvath, but we'll get to that next. Hey, as usual with a Brad Thor book, it's ripped from tomorrow's headlines. I don't know how you timed it, but here we have an Iran storyline in your book, and what honestly seemed like it was an act of fiction, this incredible bombing run. I know you are connected with so many people in the military and people who plan operations like this. What do you think of that incredible operation with those B-2s bombing the nuclear facilities?
I think we should have done it a long time ago. So I was very glad to see it. And with the Iranian air defense system so degraded, it almost would have been derelict for us not to take advantage of that, to say we're going to wait till a time where it's more dangerous for our pilots to do this. That would have been terrible. I think it was smart to go in and do it. And let's remember, the Iranians asked for it. They practically, literally asked for it. You don't enrich uranium to 60%, just a whisper away from being able to have a bomb, unless you've got nefarious purposes. These are the world's largest sponsor of terrorism. The Iranian government is not a coffee klatch of lovely old ladies down the street. They're extremely dangerous. And, the Israelis probably would have done a heck of a lot more a lot earlier, and George W. Bush wouldn't put up the AWACS support. And
right. I remember
so
that.
There's good blame to be put around on multiple administrations, not just George W. Bush, who did a lot of things that I liked, but I was glad to see it. And I'm not always a proponent of a booster of President Trump's on everything he does, but this one I have to say I think it was legit and a job well done. And boy, those pilots, holy smokes, and everybody involved.
Well,
what an operation.
And you've got to be thrilled with the recruitment. We just announced today that the Air Force and Space Force have also hit their recruitment numbers 3 months early. So Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines all hit their recruitment numbers. And as a lover of the military, you must be thrilled that there is sort of a renewed spirit right now in our armed forces.
Yeah, because we have an all-volunteer military. So we need people to step up and say, I'm going to serve. I always say, and this is a big thing with Scott Harvath in my books, there is no American dream without those willing to protect it. And so back to what Julie was talking about with Harvath and riding off into the sunset with a new wife, I always said, what does the American dream look like for those protectors? Yeah. When do they finally get to set their sword down, take their armor off, and enjoy that American dream for themselves? And that's where I have my guy south of Alexandria thinking he's going to live the easy life, and all of a sudden it's like The Godfather. They pull him back in.
I am so happy that Scott Harvath is back home where he belongs, right here in our backyard. He spent way too much time in Scandinavia and a stint in India and like all over the place recently, and now he's right back right where I love action books like yours, Brad, that take place right here in our streets and our neighborhoods. It just makes it so much more fun to know where these guys are. Well, I mean, I know they're fictional, but are they? Are they really? I'm not sure. Brad, great talking with you, my friend. Congratulations on this book. And, by the way, the last book, #1 New York Times bestseller, paperback. I mean, you still got it, but it's amazing.
Still got some heat on the old fastball. Not bad for 2+ decades in the business.
All right. Thanks, man. Keep them coming.
Brad. Thanks, guys. Happy
Bye.
Independence Day.
It's 8:16. Let's get straight to Jamie there in the Hadid carpet. I can't wait to finish it. I've started. I'm about halfway through it, and I'll finish it probably by July 4th. It really is a great book, everybody.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Ever wonder whose side our American media is on? Well, they're not on our side. They're not on the side of law enforcement. Listen to this CNN report from yesterday pushing an app that literally obstructs justice when it comes to federal law enforcement trying to get bad guys off the streets. Take a listen.
ICE raids and mass deportations. One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called ICEBLOCK, and it's controversial to say the least. Senator Claire Duffy is with us now. How does this work, Claire, and what are the legal implications?
Yeah, John, I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of immigrations and customs enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. So you open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data. And what I think is really interesting about this in this moment is we've seen so many of the biggest leaders in tech supporting President Trump. But Aaron is sort of an example of the fact that there are people within the tech industry who are really resistant to Trump's policies. I asked him what he would say to those tech leaders who, for example, were at the inauguration. Here's what he told me. Take a listen.
I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
And, John, I should say that ICE did not respond when I asked them about this platform and about Aaron's opposition to their activity.
Yeah, ICE didn't respond when CNN asked. That said, Tom Homan, the border czar, he responded on his own, not to CNN, but to the world in general. Take a listen.
It's disgusting. I mean, I cannot believe we're in a world where the men and women who enforce the law are the bad guys, and one who broke the law, they're victims. And look, it's already a dangerous job. You know, ICE agents are arresting the worst of the worst. President Trump committed from day one. We're going to concentrate our effort on public safety threats and national security threats. So right there, the job's already dangerous. But when you're out there tracking ICE movements and giving people a heads up they're coming, that just puts the danger at a whole new level. You know, it's only a matter of time for someone sits in hiding and waits for an ICE agent and tries to take them out. I mean, this is horrendous that a national media outlet will be out there trying to forecast law enforcement operations throughout the country. I mean, it's incredible where we're at as a nation, and I think DOJ needs to look at this and see if they're crossing that line. I think we need to send a strong message that we need to protect the law enforcement personnel.
That's right. This is not an app that lets you know when a bus is coming or, when you can expect some kind of other services, like when the line at the DMV is better. No, this is to identify and locate law enforcement agents who are doing their job, and this at a time when these same media outlets are allowing rampant demonization of these cops.
And what the media outlets don't report on, especially when these ICE agents are wearing masks or hiding their identity, is that these psychopaths will walk up to them and say, I'm going to dox you, I'm going to get your family, I'm going to find where you live, I'm going to spit in your food, I'm going to do I'm going to kill your pet. I mean, they say horrible things. These guys are under a lot of danger, and now this app is only going to help those crazy people hunt them down. It's terrible.
Yeah. And CNN does a feature on it.
Right.
Hey,
Oh,
here's
it was
news
fun.
you can use. Wow,
Yes.
isn't that interesting and
Yes.
fascinating? We're not endorsing it, of course, but here's where you can
just
go to get it.
reporting.
Yeah. And then they'll say, just because we talk about it on the news, that doesn't have any influence. Oh, really? Then why do you sell advertising?
Mm-hmm.
But I have a feeling that you think your channel and your network and your brand has some influence. Otherwise, you wouldn't pitch it to Chevy and McDonald's. Hey, want people to buy your car, your burgers? Advertise on our station. Trust me, they have a ton of influence, especially with wackos. It's 8:23.
Coming up, poor Meghan Markle. She's been caught lying again, this time about her homemade raspberry jam. And she apparently has also a wine line. I don't know. We'll update you. Keep it here. It's 8:30.
WMAL FM Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
8:37 now on O'Connor and Company as we wrap up our 4-hour extravaganza. If you missed any of it, please subscribe to the podcast so you can download it and catch it yourself. 30 minutes from now, we got Chris Plant plowing through the studio to wreak havoc on the world. Julie Gunlock is with us. And, Julie, I know that you're a huge fan of the Duchess of Sussex.
Huge.
Meghan Markle. She's a groundbreaking podcaster is what she is.
Oh, and a founder.
She is a founder of
And to the manor born.
a lifestyle brand that she is now marketing with lots of things that you can purchase under her brand. What's her brand name again?
As Ever.
Ever.
Which she stole from a small California-based, I believe California-based clothing brand. So she doesn't care.
Is that right? That's excellent. She's a
Stealing
woman
things
of the
from another
people.
woman.
Yeah. Of the manor born, as you say. Well, when last
Yes.
we discussed this, we discovered that she was selling tea that is manufactured in Illinois.
Yeah.
Under her own brand name, and she was also selling other products that are actually Williams-Sonoma products. That they
Right.
basically, they take the hair dryer and melt the adhesive to take the label off, and then
TJ
smack
Maxx
their
wouldn't
label
take them.
on. No, right? Well, now there's more. The lifestyle brand As Ever is now marketing raspberry jam, and she describes it as her own home recipe.
Homemade. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't you want to buy Meghan Markle's homemade raspberry jam? She
No.
lives in Montecito, California. The jam is made in a factory in the middle of Illinois.
I love this so much.
2,000
I love this so much.
2,000 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah.
They also, by the way, sell her honey. Now, the honey is coming from the Savannah Bee Company. Savannah,
Right.
that would be Georgia.
And this is after she made a big deal of her bees in
Yes.
her backyard,
Yes.
which wasn't her backyard. It was actually some rented property.
Right.
But she got all in the get-up and went out there and attended to her bees with a beekeeper.
Right.
Okay.
And then
It's
she
all
said,
fake.
"Buy-
she's the biggest fraud.
Buy my orange blossom honey." Well, the honey actually comes from Savannah Bee Company. I don't think they grow oranges in Savannah, Georgia. I could be wrong. You can buy the Savannah Bee Company honey for $18 a jar, or you can buy the Meghan Markle version, which is actually a smaller jar and sells for $10 more.
I mean, I don't know if people think the royal will rub off. Who is buying this, first of all? Who is buying this?
Oh, it's sold out. It's sold out.
Well, how many bottles were there? 4?
Well, that's I'm not sure. All right, so here's the best one. This is my favorite part of this whole story. She's now marketing apricot jam. She's about to market. There's like a whole tease campaign. If you liked my raspberry jam, wait till you try my apricot jam. And then they put out a picture of her picking an apricot from an apricot tree. Here's the thing, though. Have you looked at the picture?
Yes.
She's picking a beautifully, perfectly ripened apricot from this apricot tree, and it's gorgeous. But then if you look at the other apricots on the exact same tree, they're all green.
No. Oh, my God.
So you haven't really looked at the picture.
Meghan really puts the common in commoner. She is so embarrassing. She's so embarrassing.
She's a fraud. She's such a fraud. She should run for mayor of New York. She's such a fraud. That's how fraudulent she is.
What's so fascinating is what we are curious about is not the life of a millionaire, Montecito, privileged wife of whatever. We are curious about the royal family. If she really, because, she's desperate to be famous. If she really wanted to be famous, right?
Yeah.
Stay in the royal family and spill some tea. This is not interesting to us. We've had Martha Stewart. We have Goop. We have every failed actress who ends up on the Food Network making pizza and jam and all this stuff. This isn't interesting to Americans.
She's also about to sell her own rosé. She's marketed her own as ever rosé wine,
which is flip flop.
But here's But here's or barefoot, yeah. But here's the real funny thing about this rosé. She's marketing it as a Napa Valley rosé.
No.
She lives in Santa Barbara,
right?
So if she's going to sell, again, everything's about being locally sourced, and this is what Meghan drinks or grows or plants or harvests or something. Then why not just do Santa Barbara rosé?
Right.
But instead,
she's a snob. She probably thinks it has to be Napa because Napa, whatever.
Right. But rosé is probably the least interesting wine to come out of Napa Valley.
I think the rosé is proper. Frankly, I think the rosé is probably also from Illinois.
Yeah, that's all
we'll
Illinois
find that
grapes. But I love and so apparently fans on social media discovered the one ripe apricot that she's picking out of the tree, where every other apricot on the tree is green and unripe. And by the way, it's also upside down in her hand as she's picking it off the tree.
She's a fraud.
Also, if you look, she's wearing like one of those farmer hats, with the string around it that you wrap around it. Take a look at the string. She's supposedly holding the string in her hand, but it doesn't. The string actually goes above her finger. Everything about this is manipulated.
Yes,
it's photoshopped.
It's all photoshopped. Absolutely.
None of it is real.
Absolutely.
She's
And none
Meghan
of us
Markle.
are surprised. None of us are surprised. I mean, look, don't forget, there are rumors that her kids aren't real. Okay, so I don't think it's a stretch for the made-up apricots at this point.
So all of this criticism about Meghan Markle, none of it hits home as hard as the reality. Apparently, she is devastated that she and Harry were not invited to the Bezos wedding in Venice. She is beside herself. She's apparently, according to this magazine, she is left reeling after not getting an invite. Don't the Bezoses know who she is? Don't they know who she's married to?
Didn't they want royalty there?
She's reeling over the snub amid speculation that she and Prince Harry have fallen out of favor with Hollywood power players.
Honey,
Shocking.
You were never in favor.
They seem so likable, after all. It's shocking.
She was never in favor. She was offering to do voiceovers for Disney cartoons. I don't think you were a big heavy hitter there, Meghan.
It's 8:43. Julie, Pete Buttigieg is undoubtedly running for president in 2028, and I guess he's gotten the memo that he's got to change his image. So he's gone through a couple of things here to sort of reinvent himself. He won't be able to reinvent the fact that as Secretary of Transportation, he was more interested in claiming that bridges and overpasses were racist, and he sat idly by while the transportation infrastructure of our nation deteriorated. He won't live that down, but he's trying to fix his image by growing a beard. As you know,
that'll do it.
It makes a huge difference because he knows he's going to be running against J.D. Vance, and J.D. Vance has a beard after all.
Right.
Also, Pete Buttigieg it's hard for him to live down the idea that he went on maternity leave or paternity leave or whatever it is when he and his partner bought a baby.
In the hospital bed, yeah.
Yeah. And so he's got to butch things up a bit. So he's going on podcasts and talking about, manly things with men. And now here's the latest. On social media, the X platform, it's been revealed that Pete Buttigieg has begun following UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship that Dana White is the CEO of, that Trump goes to the fights all the time. And
trying so hard.
Secretary Pete says, me too, I can do that too.
I can do that. Can you imagine? Look, the Democrats are desperate to reach young men. We know that they have lost young men.
I think Pete Buttigieg at one time was desperate to reach young men too.
Obviously, proving that you have enough testosterone by growing a beard and following UFC are these little things that they're going to try. It won't work because you still treat men like garbage. You are part of a party that has accused men of being lazy, toxic, having for showing masculinity. That's a mental health disorder.
Pete treats men very well.
Okay.
Come on. I mean,
I walked right into that for you.
You're
welcome.
I think it's really wrong for you to suggest. I'm pretty sure he bends over backwards to treat men.
Larry?
What? No? I'm just saying. I don't think.
I know you're just saying.
I'm just trying to correct the record here. I don't want to get fact checked by anybody.
I'm just saying. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I've sort of lost my train of thought. Why don't you go on to the next subject?
So Pete Buttigieg is getting manly, and he's going to be able to appeal and cross over and make sure he gets all the voters. The problem is he's still 4'11". He still talks like Kermit the Frog, and he still has
he's smug.
He's very smug and has wackadoodle liberal ideas. That said, he is the front runner right now. As people,
that is insane.
As people poll for when they're polling Democrats, mind you, not the rest of the normal human beings in America, but the polling Democrats right now, who's your number one choice for the nomination in 2028? Pete Buttigieg is number one. But get this, the latest poll that had him number one amongst Democrats, guess what his number is right now with black voters?
Oh, well.
Do you know how many?
Good.
It's literally zero.
Good God.
He is polling at 0 with black voters, but he's number one with Democrats in general, like your neighbors in Alexandria.
Well, the next thing he's going to do then, he's going to go to a black church and he's going to, do a Hillary Clinton with his accent, and everything will be fine.
He's going to divorce his husband and marry Wes Moore, and that's going to be the ticket right there.
Well, he has a great smile.
He has a fabulous smile. And he looks great in heels. It's 8:52.